Hello, Namaskar, Jai Guru. How are
Namaskar,
you?
Jai Guru.
Viewers, we welcome you to our episode 2, season 2, episode 2 of Dialogue of Depth. So, again, we'll go deep. So, we are diverse, actually, diverse and drivers of our life. As we discussed in our last session, we gave immense importance to that word, to be drivers of our life, to be in the driver's seat, not as a passenger in the journey of life. So, when you drive, there are many hurdles to cross. Like there is a saying, a motivational piece perhaps, that tough time doesn't last, but tough people do.
True.
Right? Now, I was thinking, like, is there any difference between the two terms, toughness and strength? Are they synonymous, or there is some difference between the two? What do you feel about this?
That's a very interesting question. So, is toughness synonymous with strength, or the strength synonymous with toughness? I think strength is much broader and bigger, in its sense. Personally, I believe, strength is equal to toughness plus kindness plus awareness. So, yes, one who is strong needs to be either tough or kind, depending on the situation. So, being aware of one's environment, what are the impulses coming from the environment, and how to deal with that, whether with toughness, with an iron hand, or with kindness and empathy. The ability to make the choice and carry out that choice, in my opinion, is strength. So, toughness is one part of strength, but the other two components should be kindness and awareness. And if somebody is very strong, but not, if somebody is tough, but lacks awareness, he or she can be disaster. That's how I look at it.
Yeah, well said. If I can put it in language of mathematics, what you said, the way I understood is toughness is a subset of strength.
Yeah.
Strength that has many other components in it, right? As you said, kindness, empathy, these things. And we often say that strength of character, not toughness of character. Because with
True.
toughness comes rigidity, and ego gets associated with that. That's right.
Yeah.
At times. So, whenever needed to be tough, we have to be. But our nature is kindness. So we should not compromise with our nature.
Yeah.
Bow down. And toughness and flexibility don't go together. They are opposite in meaning, right? So,
Correct.
when we talk of a tree, okay, tall standing tree, so we can use the word toughness, and in contrast, if we think of a creeper, so we cannot associate toughness with that. So, what is your way of looking at this? Growth of a tree and a creeper. Is one is supporter of the other, or is one is taking support of the other?
Yeah. So when we look at the tree and the creeper, they're pretty different characteristics, right? So we can look at a very strong, powerful tree as strong, but at the same time it can be rigid, right? But a creeper may not be as strong as the big tree, but it is flexible. So typically what happens? when you are strong but rigid, you may not be able to withstand the adversities of life, right? So, if there is a big cyclone, even a very strong tree also might get uprooted, but a creeper may survive because it is taking the shelter of somebody or something which is holding it. It has entwined itself around something, and it has kind of relied on that, and that something is which is going to protect it. And because it is flexible, it is probably it can adapt to different situations. So that's how I look at it. So if someone is rigid, I think rigidity comes from ego, and flexibility comes from humility, right? So if somebody is too rigid because of ego or because of a false sense of pride, um, it is going to have negative ramifications. So typically, what happens, when you are egoistic, you tend to become rigid, and what happens? We all know that our ego also leads to ignorance. So I sometimes wonder that before science discovered that it is the sun, sorry, it is the earth which revolves around the sun, people generally believed that it is the earth which is at the center of the solar system and the sun revolves around it. But that's not true. So actually, it is the sun which is at the center, and all the planets, including the earth, revolve around the sun. But sometimes, out of ignorance, we believe that we are at the center and everything is revolving around us. So we become rigid. We have a false sense of pride. We have ignorance. And we all know the consequences, right? If the earth starts believing that it is at the center of the solar system, you can imagine what would happen. So I think rigidity comes out of ego, it comes out of ignorance. Flexibility comes out of humility. And if you look at the true reason behind humility, it is when somebody has a master or guide at the center of one's life, one becomes humble naturally. So when one becomes humble, one has humility, one naturally becomes flexible, adaptable, and one adapts to different situations. Because our environment can give us positive impulses, it can give us negative impulses. If you're flexible, adaptable, we can respond to situations as appropriate. But if one is rigid, like the big strong tree, which refuses to change or adapt, could have negative implications or ramifications. So that's how I would look at this. A big, large, strong tree and a creeper, and how they can behave differently.
Yeah, beautifully explained. The difference between strength and toughness. And you said ego. Now, this thought came to my mind that you said ego leads to ignorance. And irony is we are ignorant about our ego. Often we don't realize that, right?
That is irony.
I'll say, no, I don't have any ego. But do I actually know? At the testing moment, right things will come up, right? If someone calls me a name and it hurts me, that means I am soaked in ego, right?
Yes.
So every moment we need to test what we are. And for that testing, we need to have a guide who can show us our real picture. Like very recently, I asked some of my students about what do you think as the best creation of science, right? So many things they said, airport, this and that. Now, through that discussion, one thing came up that mirror is a wonderful thing, right? Invention of science. It shows our reflection, my true self, but only the physical self it shows. But to see our inner being, reflection of our inner being, our emotion, our inner strength or weaknesses, for that also we need some kind of mirror, right? And that mirror is perhaps named in different ways as guru or whatever. Now you spoke about surrender. Now see, if I depend on someone, not in the sense that I will not do any work for my life, I'll be served by that someone, not with that intention, just to look at someone as a support center, that if I get derailed, I'll have someone to bring me back on track. Now, is depending on something or on someone, is it a show of our weakness?
That's an interesting question. Exactly the same question or a similar question was asked by a devotee to Sri Thakur Anukul Chandra. The question was about dependence. If you're dependent on somebody, are we not losing our own identity? Sri Thakur replied, look, our entire life, we are dependent, right? Even to take birth, we depended on our parents. Without them, we couldn't have come to this world. So we are dependent. The food we eat is cooked by somebody. The shirt I'm wearing has been stitched by somebody. The road I'm walking on has been built by somebody. The book I'm reading has been written by somebody. So my entire life I'm dependent on somebody or other. So why is this question that is being dependent a sign of weakness? I think what Sri Thakur talks about is interdependence. And he says that look at your body, the anatomy. Every organ is dependent on every other organ, right? So if a mosquito comes and bites my forehead, my hands goes and drives it away, right? So my hand protects my forehead, right? It's the heart which pumps the blood, which carries oxygen to all the organs, right? It's the kidney which removes all the waste from the body. So all the organs are dependent on each other, and but at the same time, everybody is performing a distinct role. So depending on somebody is not a sign of weakness, right? So Swami Vivekananda, he surrendered to Lord Ramakrishna, and did he become weaker in the process? Did he lose his identity? No. Today he's known all over the world as an exponent of Vedanta, as one of the greatest spiritual preachers. Hanuman depended on surrender to Lord Rama. Did he lose his identity? No. Today he's worshipped all over the world as the greatest disciple or devotee of Lord Ram. So we know about Chandragupta, who surrendered to his master Chanakya, King Asoka, who surrendered to Lord Buddha, right? All of them, none of them became weaker. Their personality expanded, their life expanded, and they today have a much bigger, larger, following in the world, and they're worshipped, they're appreciated, admired by people all over. So it is never a sign of weakness. Swami Vivekananda says that every individual has some blanks which the ideal must fulfill. So all of us have some gaps in our lives, right? Even an emperor like Asoka had some gaps, some blanks. So he had to go and accept Buddha. Even Swami Vivekananda, so knowledgeable and wise, had some gaps. And then he had to surrender to a master. And by surrendering to a master, that their life has expanded. So, dependence is not a sign of weakness if we are surrendering to somebody who is superior to us. So Sri Thakur explains surrender as giving ourselves to somebody higher or superior to us. And in that case, we never lose anything. We rather grow and expand ourselves. What
Yeah,
do you think?
you have simply, I have, you didn't leave any scope for me to think further because you have simply destroyed the question. Uh, so, in essence, what you're saying is surrendering to someone is not show of our weakness, rather, it is show of our intelligence. If
Yes,
we are intelligent enough, then we will surrender. But again,
exactly.
the word surrender can have different connotations, like one army surrendering before another army. That is surely a show of weakness, sign of
Yes,
weakness. That I
yes,
cannot fight. We cannot fight the opposite army. So let us surrender. But
yeah,
what we mean by surrender in this context is something totally different. Surrendering before a super self,
yeah,
someone beyond ourselves, someone bigger than us in every way we think,
yeah,
and surrendering for what? Not in search of an identity, or maybe in search of our true identity. And what I feel is our true identity is we can find our true identity when we find unity with the totality.
very true.
As we say that Atma Paramatma, when
Yes, yes,
there is a merger, that is where we find our real abode, right? So our journey after coming in contact with Sisi Thakur is attaining mastery, because Thakur had said right at the beginning that if mastery within awakens not, master center none you have. So you don't try to make a master outside of yourself. Your master is within yourself in a sleeping
true.
state. Wake the master up. And that is what he says. And this is the journey actually. So if we make progress keeping this in mind, then there is no question of weakness or anything. Then we are the smartest people, right? And we are the strongest
Very
people.
true.
Strongest
Very
people.
true.
Yeah. Yeah, and another question I had in my mind, but this also has been answered actually in a way that when it comes to life, what approach should we take? A rigid one or a flexible one? You have answered before I could ask because you are a mind reader.
We talked about. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's right.
and yeah, I just now I said you missed that point. You are a mind reader. Now, today only I was talking to some of my students that we talk of leaders, Leader. Now, a leader has to be a reader first. And
Mhm.
when I say reader, uh, I don't mean only reading books, reading ourselves. I need to read ourselves, my mind, right? My emotions, my thoughts. If I can do that, uh, then I can bring the corrections. You are talking about the gaps that are there.
Beautifully said. Yeah, yeah, beautifully said.
So
Leaders
those
have to
gaps,
become leaders. Very beautiful.
reader first, just change.
Yeah,
Before L, R should come.
yes,
So, and we should be readers of ourselves, our life. So, this we should know in totality first before knowing the
yes,
universe. And
yes, yes,
in our prayer song and all, also we say like this, no? That
yes.
Madatma Sarvabhutatma. And what
True,
is in the universe, it is in this piece of life also.
true, true.
And to know it in a very simple way, Thakur has prescribed. The path is given, and it is a matter of
Yes,
practice. As it is said
yes,
that practice makes a man perfect, we just tweak it a little bit and say that practice makes a man a superman.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And practicing what? Practicing not anything out of our own whims and fancy.
Yeah,
Ah, a certain way of life, we have to adopt that, and we are doing
true.
that. Uh, yeah, so today we were talking. we thought of discussing about this only, this particular point, that surrendering before, and we took the example of creeper. Sri Thakur also says, take the habit of a creeper and cling yourself to a strong tree. So that strong tree in our life, or for that matter, in life of everybody, should be the guru,
Yes,
whomever we choose. Right?
absolutely.
And what is your understanding, like for the viewers, benefit of the viewers, because you and me, we think alike because we are holding on to the same person, same love center. Now, just for the benefit of viewers, what does a true guru want from others? I'm not using this, deliberately not using the word followers.
Yeah. The true guru, essentially, what I understand, wants the disciple to grow, to expand, grow in terms of character, personality, knowledge, wisdom, in all aspects. Because what essentially Sri Thakur talks about, he says, Dharo, Karo, Bano, Pao. So when we accept the guru, Dharo means when we accept the guru. Karo means when we follow, act according to his commandments, we become. When we say we become, we become able, competent, capable. We acquire great qualities and attributes. So when we become, achievement becomes natural. If we become, we can obtain, we can achieve. So I think a true guru wants his disciples, devotees, or human beings to grow and expand by following the principles of being and becoming, principles of existence and expansion. That's what I can say in a nutshell.
Yeah, well said. And we'll end this conversation, I think, because we should not overshoot time. I was just reading that message, volume 5, I think. So we can end today's session with this quote from message page 181. He says, step on, be thou ardently selfish in the affair of thy beloved the Lord, and thus do perform everything in a miserly but masterly way, with every rational goal, and this the primary wealth to step on in thy progressive life.
Wow. Beautiful.
So viewers, in the last session also we requested you to make comments and like, share also you'll do, but more than all of this, we need your participation in all possible forms, active participation. So let us grow happily with life and spread the message of love all around. Jai Guru.
Jai Guru. Thank you very much.